Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are once again back at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania for another year of county fair park and ride operations. Over the course of 8 days in mid-August, the museum offers shuttle service from its on-site parking lots to the Washington County Fairground. This in turn provides a unique opportunity to take a summer ride on a trolley to the fair, a tradition long since gone from the years when time seemed to move a bit slower. As a part of this operation, a number of cars would be needed to provide service, so you may ride a Pittsburgh PCC or a Rio de Janeiro open-air car on your trip to the fair, and then take a Red Arrow Line suburban car or a streetcar named Desire from New Orleans back to the parking lot. There's a lot to see and do during this busy operation, so let's take a trolley ride to the fair. To start our visit, we find ourselves at the East Campus of the museum at the Visitor Welcome and Education Center along Volunteer Boulevard. Across the street from the Visitor Center is the Trolley Display Building, where most of the museum's collections of streetcars is on display. The date is August 12th, 2025, and something terrible is about to happen. Press, media, and officials are gathered for what appears to be some sort of event. A banner is laid across the street in anticipation of the first streetcar to roll down Volunteer Boulevard today. We are present for the unveiling and rededication of the newly restored Pittsburgh Steelers Terrible Trolley. In the early 1980s, a young girl named Kim Sever thought that Pittsburgh should have a terrible trolley painted in the Steelers colors, along the lines of the Terrible Towel. Her grandmother suggested that she write a letter with the recommendation, so the 9-year-old wrote to the then mayor of Pittsburgh, who wrote back explaining that he wasn't in charge of the public transit system, but that he would pass along her suggestion to the Port Authority of Allegheny County. In the Port Authority's internal memo about the letter, they indicate that they took action to move forward with the project by January 10, 1980. In just 1 week, they were working to paint a car in the suggested theme. Within the next few weeks, the car hit the streets of Pittsburgh to great fanfare on January 18, 1980, just 2 days prior to Super Bowl 14. Upon retirement from Port Authority Transit in 1998, it was sold to the Penn Ohio Electric Railway Association of Columbus, Ohio. In 2022, KDKA-TV CBS Pittsburgh reached out to PTM about the car, prompting former museum executive director Scott Becker to search around for the current whereabouts of the car at the time. In 2023, the car was found and sold to PTM. A quick but thorough 2-year restoration commenced, resulting in the events of today.
All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're from the land with that great football team, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go out and get them Steelers. Bradshaw and Rocky and Franco. I can hear you.
Following some more speeches and a group photo of everyone involved with the car's restoration, we headed out to watch the car's first trip with passengers in nearly 30 years. By the time the car has returned from its inaugural trip, County Fair service has officially started for the day. We see Pittsburgh Railway's 4145 heading outbound to the fairgrounds from the East Campus.
Compressor sound says. Yep, that's it. I was about to say, Cody, how about we hop on the
We will then catch Pittsburgh Railway's 1138 to the West Campus. No, it was probably 16. We're just gonna connect to the lines. Sorry? We're just gonna connect to the lines. Somewhere over there. We haven't figured that out yet.
So you want to be a switch coming off County Home?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna try and do.
I'll be around. I'll probably be back soon. Somebody drop me off at Richmond.
Yeah, no problem.
Clearing County Home siding, we arrive at the museum's West Campus. On site is the founder's car barn and the museum's maintenance and restoration shop. This was the original site of the museum before the construction of the East Campus. We disembark here to watch cars pass through here. During County Fair operations, cars heading inbound wait at the East Campus platform to see an inbound signal indication from the east end of County Home siding before departing. As a result, there can be a small backlog of cars created while waiting for an outbound car to meet at County Home siding. We see that now as Pittsburgh Railway's 4145 and Pittsburgh Railway's 1138 await to depart inbound. 4145 was built in 1911 by the Pressed Steel Car Company as what would be recognized as a high-floor car. As it implies, the car has a high floor requiring passengers to step up a steep set of stairs into the car. Because of their heavy construction, a dozen 4000 and 4100 series cars would be rebuilt for towing and snow scraping service, with 4145 entering the latter. After retirement in 1967, it was purchased by the McGee Transportation Museum where it was restored to a passenger car. and operated there until the museum closed in 1973 due to damage from Hurricane Agnes. The car would then make its way to the collection of Trolleyville, USA, later reorganizing as the Lakeshore Electric Railway Museum, before that museum closed in 2009. The car would then go to the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum, joining the rest of the museum's Pittsburgh fleet. Pittsburgh Railway's 1138, behind 4145, was built in 1937 as one of the 201 early first-generation PCC streetcars delivered to Pittsburgh Railways. It would be acquired by the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in 1961 and officially enter service in 2024 after an extensive electrical overhaul. Both of these cars had been sitting here at West Campus awaiting the arrival of West Penn Railway's 832 to arrive at County Home. West Penn 832 was built in 1929 by the Cincinnati Car Company for West Penn's Allegheny Valley Street Railway. Company accountants apparently liked these cars because they required one crewman instead of two to operate. 832 was the second car acquired for the museum, and on February 7, 1954, 832 was moved under its own power alongside Pittsburgh Railway's M1 and 3756 to its new home in Washington County at PTM, then called the Arden Trolley Museum, along the former Washington Interurban Right-of-Way. In 2010, the car would be restored by the museum and Brookville Corporation and returned to service in 2021. We are now on Pittsburgh Railway's 4145 again, heading outbound to Arden Loop, by way of the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds date back to 1911 when the Washington Fair Association, with $40,000 collected from 800 shareholders, purchased 100 acres of land in Arden, Pennsylvania. In 1979, construction of PTM's Arden Valley Extension began, including a station at the fairgrounds entrance. In 2019, the current platform was constructed, increasing space and providing overhead shelter from any precipitating weather. After servicing the stop, we continue up Arden Valley. The right-of-way we're currently riding along was never, in fact, for a trolley line. It was a branch line of the Pennsylvania Railroad serving the mines north of Arden, and was abandoned prior to 1930. The relative straightness of the line here allows museum visitors to experience what it would have been like riding interurbans back in the day. We have now reached the westernmost point of the ride, Arden Mines Loop. Not far from here is the small community of Arden Mines. A platform was constructed here not only to allow passengers to watch cars go around the loop, but also for residents of Arden Mines to catch inbound cars to the fairgrounds.
They claim they can do it. There's no problem. I don't believe that, but I'm not part of the mechanical. I think it was either Wednesday or Friday, which is one of our busiest days.
After arriving back at East Campus, we take our first ride aboard the terrible trolley. Our operator for the trip is a much older Kim Sever, the same lady who wrote the letter recommending the idea of the terrible trolley back in 1980 as a 9-year-old girl. After taking a ride on the terrible trolley, we head up to Yanovich Smith, just west of Fairground Station. This is a representation of a small flag stop made up of a gravel platform and the former Smith shelter from Port Authority Transit. Back at West Campus, we watch some yard moves happen. First, we see 4145 arrive inbound at the stop. Then we see the terrible trolley pull into the shop apron for a quick inspection before being sent out on the road in rotation for fare service. It is worth noting that the car's actual running number is 1713, not 14, despite that being painted on the front of the car. The 14 correlates to Super Bowl 14. From this point onwards in the presentation, we will be referring to the terrible trolley as car 1713. Next, we see Philadelphia Suburban Transportation Company, better known as Red Arrow Lines, number 14, pull out of Founders Car Barn. Now West Penn Railway's 832 arrives outbound. After grabbing some late lunch, we take a ride aboard Rio 1758.
Well, you also might want to sort of pause because I think your kid's gonna fall.
Yeah.
It will.
Sometimes it's probably hard to believe this thing's like turning sideways. But I can believe that.
While open cars went out of use in the 1920s, Rio would continue to use open cars into the 1960s. These cars were popular for those looking to catch a breeze on a summer evening in the city. The Rio open cars would actually closely follow J.G. Brillo open car designs here in the US, prompting a joint effort by multiple museums to bring some of these cars to the US for preservation. 1758 would ultimately be purchased and operated by the McGee Transportation Museum in Bloomsburg, PA, until that museum ultimately closed due to Hurricane Agnes. The car would then become a hobby shop prop in Florida before coming under the ownership of the city of Orlando in 1990 to be used for a streetcar line that never came to fruition. In 2006, it returned to Pennsylvania for operation at PTM.
Now, one thing about the open cars is for some reason they had a windshield. Like, who on earth was on a windshield? I can't see them though, got the Baltimore, on one of the Baltimore ones, or 606. We are also susceptible to bugs because we have this thing called the window. Yes, right there, they pulled up. So what time is it? After riding the car up to Arden Mines Loop and back to West Campus,
we take a peek behind Founders Car Barn at a little unique piece of the Washington Interurban. Behind Founders Car Barn sits a former Red Arrow Lines work flat car and 2 Philadelphia Transportation Company PCC streetcars. The track that these sit on were once a part of the Washington Interurban from the Pittsburgh Railway Company. Washington Interurban PCCs owned by the Pittsburgh Railway Company would have run through down this track, continuing to downtown Washington, Pennsylvania. After taking a look at the equipment behind Founders Car Barn, we head over to Fairgrounds to watch some cars in the golden evening sunlight.
Get a picture of the actual. I got this.
We now head back to West Campus aboard West Penn 832 to watch some more yard moves in preparation for the night photo shoot.
Are we getting up here or?
Do you need to?
I eventually do need to get a radio,
If it makes you warm, we could, and then take 1758 back.
but we might just stay on this if we want to.
Whatever works. The yard moves in question, or yard move non-plural, is Red Arrow Lines 14 getting ready to be put into rotation for fare service. It would be swapping out with 1713, as it would be a part of the night photo shoot later on. We are now aboard 1713 as we head east towards the east campus of the museum, following Red Arrow 14.
Yeah, okay.
As we wait for darkness to fall, we watch multiple cars pass through the streetscape along Volunteer Boulevard.
And then just, you know, and then when they come by, oh, Jack.
Okay, they're moving.
Watch the lights. I mean, I don't know which way you're going.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Hey, what's that horn?
After the photo shoot was over, a 3-car section of 3 eras of Pittsburgh PCCs made their way along the former Washington Interurban for the Founders Car Barn for the night. Leading the section would be 1711, built in 1949.
This is 1711. Can you please repeat that last transmission? I am first.
Back out at Fairgrounds, we continue to watch cars make their rounds into the night. The next day, we are greeted with clouds forming in the sky, threatening rain upon the day's operations. We have arrived early at the museum to see what it takes to run an operation like County Fair Park and Ride. First order of business was to back 4145 out of Founder's Car Barn. The car would be sent to the trolley display building at the East Campus, where it will be swapped out with Philadelphia and Westchester Traction Company, later Red Airlines, number 78. "4145 was built as a single-ended car, which means that we would have to traverse the entire railroad to arrive at the TDB front-facing forward.
That'll do, 4145.
Do you need to get on?
1613, you're transmitted. That's 490. And you just got
What time is it? So they should be in the middle of their segment if not finished.
Yeah, I'll pull it to L.
Arriving at the TDB, we have to dig out 78 before we can use it. Our operator backs out Philadelphia Transportation Company PCC 2711 out of the barn.
Where's your dead man?
There is no such thing as a dead man on this computer.
Oh, wow.
Park, you're clear.
Well, rain has started. Definitely
Are you
now.
slipping just now?
No, I'm just feathering it.
Aren't the Toronto cars just like this?
They're not as bad.
Having dug out 78, it's brought out of the barn to be prepared for fair service.
questions. Yeah, five per comment. You just
We would be riding along with the crew for the morning shift, but before we can head out with our assigned car, 2711 and 4145 must be put out of the way.
The gong is super unresponsive today.
Having dealt with the other cars, we'll ride aboard 78 for the morning shift.
Guess
78 is a part of a group of 10 cars purchased from the J.G. Brill Car Company in 1931 and 1932 by the Philadelphia and Westchester Traction Company. The 80 cars, as they became to be known as, were designed for one-man operation, equipped for high-speed running, and employed lightweight aluminum construction. These cars were so successful that the first 5 cars hadn't been completed before another 5 cars were ordered. Their last 15 years of service saw them primarily used in rush hour.
Yeah, this is West Campus, East Campus, Alice.
Anyone for West Campus Station?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off here. Oh, we're good.
Harry's jumping off.
Fairground Station.
If Jesus starts going, I go down.
Station is West Campus, Museum Road. Doors will open on your left.
What's that like coming from driving a car or a tractor?
After the morning shift is over, we go back into rail fanning mode. New Orleans Public Service car number 832 is seen shuffling around the TDB yard as Red Arrow 78 arrives. Here we see Red Arrow Line 66 heading inbound to the East Campus. '66 was built in 1926 by the J.G. Brill Car Company as a part of the Red Arrow's 32-car Senator fleet. The car would be retired by SEPTA in 1970 and would be required by the PTM shortly thereafter. By 1975, the car returned to its 1949 appearance. In addition to 66, the museum also has sister car number 73, currently in the process of getting restored. Next, we see Port Authority Transit 4004, originally built in 1949 and rebuilt in 1988, arrive inbound at the West Campus. When some of Pittsburgh's South Hill trolley lines were being upgraded to light rail standards and new equipment was being purchased, the Port Authority undertook a program to remanufacture 1949 vintage PCC cars for use on the Library and Overbrook routes. At the time, these lines were not being rebuilt and required operation using smaller, lightweight cars traditionally used on these lines originally. In September of 1999, 4004 would be the last PCC to operate in revenue service, ending 63 years of PCC car operation in Pittsburgh. It would be acquired by PTM in 2004 after being donated by the Port Authority. At this point of the day, ridership was starting to pick up in anticipation of the evening's event at the fair, a school bus demolition derby. With this increase in ridership, this required up to 7 cars in rotation, with tripper service being implemented. Tripper service is a short supplemental transit run added to a regular schedule, typically operating during peak periods, not covering the entire route. Up until this point in the program, we had been seeing cars traverse the museum's entire main line. The trippers typically operate between East Campus and Fairgrounds, not heading out to Arden, which is still handled by regular service cars. This is operations at the museum to its current max potential when open to the public, bringing in over 1,000 riders on busier days of the fair. If that seems like a small number, remember, this is a museum doing transit service on their demonstration railroad. We have returned to East Campus right before tripper service gets underway. Tonight's car roster would be West Penn Railways 832, Port Authority 4004, Pittsburgh Railways 1713, and Red Arrow Line 66 as the regular service cars, with Red Arrow 14, Red Arrow 78, and New Orleans 832 as the tripper cars. Now we'll watch cars travel through Volunteer Boulevard for a bit before heading out on the line for tonight's operations. As 4004 arrives, tripper service has officially started. Behind 4004 is Red Arrow 14 paired up with it for the first tripper. The next tripper would be Red Arrow 66, paired up with New Orleans 832. Finally, the third of the trippers roll through, with West Penn 832 leading and Red Arrow Line 78 following behind. Yeah, Taven. The way trippers work is a regular service car heading outbound would be followed by a tripper car, with the tripper short-turning at Fairgrounds Station. After that, it would follow another service car back inbound, repeating the run until returning to Fairgrounds yet again. This results in every tripper following every leader, which means that both 832s would actually be paired up for a bit of time tonight. We head up to Yanovich Smith. Now we'll watch cars travel through here for a bit. Back down at West Campus, we watched Red Arrow 14 pass through inbound before jumping on New Orleans 832 to the fairgrounds. New Orleans 832 was built in 1922 by the Pearlie Thomas Car Works in North Carolina, the same company who now produces most school buses seen on roads today. The museum's interest in the car came from the fact that it had been featured in a 1947 Life magazine article when Tennessee Williams' play, A Streetcar Named Desire, debuted on Broadway. 3 years later, a magazine article identified 832 as the car regularly assigned to operation on the Desire line. Although the Desire streetcar line quit operation in 1948, the play and movie continue to bring fame to New Orleans' streetcars. As a side note, Sister Car 922 was featured in the 1951 movie version and is still in regular operation alongside 34 other Thomas cars on the St. Charles line in New Orleans. By the time we arrive at Fairgrounds, the outbound rush has settled down, allowing for trippers to be rotated out until later in the night. Here at West Campus, we see Red Arrow 78 layover at Founders Car Barn. Now we ride Red Arrow 66 back to East Campus.
You do get good impact when you're up in front.
So high up.
That's the advantage, maybe. Slightly high center of gravity, but because it's heavy, it's just got a higher overall default. Oh yeah, you want to see the operator seat, the ass platform.
I see it right now.
Yeah. This is why I don't like running this car in fair service. Anywhere here.
Later that night, trippers come back into rotation. During tripper service, cars need to be short-turned in under minutes in order to keep up with regular service cars. So much so that there are crews at fairgrounds waiting to handle trolley poles and to walk control handles around to the other end of the car.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Brackenridge, car 832, the orange car, is our next.
So who's Miss Brackenridge?
I don't know. It's whoever the car was named after.
No, yeah, I knew that.
And car 14 will be going directly to the parking lots. Car 14 at the end of the platform will be going directly to all parking lots.
I think we'll have it go like all the way around.
This car is going to all parking lots. This car right here, car 14, all parking lots, back at the museum. Ladies and gentlemen, the terrible trolley is heading to all parking lots. All parking lots on the terrible trolley. The terrible trolley is headed to all parking lots. All parking lots on the terrible trolley. Car 4004, the white car, is headed to the village of Arden and then to all parking lots. If you're looking for an express ride to the parking lots, the streetcar named Desire, the green car, is coming in and heading to all parking lots. Ladies and gentlemen, car 78 is headed to all parking lots. All parking lots on the maroon car, 78. Huzzah for the trooper!
As the night continued, a freak rainstorm drenched Washington County in some rain, creating for a brief influx of ridership. As passengers retreated to the cover of the fairground station awning while waiting for cars back to the parking lots.
Car 66 goes to all parking. Headed to all parking lots. 832 headed to all parking lots. Ladies and gentlemen, the terrible trolley will be headed to the village of Arden and then all parking lots. The terrible trolley will be headed to the village of Arden and then all parking lots. If you're
After spending some time at fairgrounds, we quickly head back up to Yanovich Smith to watch cars before we close out for the night. Back at East Campus, operations are starting to wind down, with trippers returning to Founders Car Barn. Thank you for watching this program on Pennsylvania Trolley Museum's County Fair operations. A special thank you is extended to all the volunteers, crews, and staff for making this whole operation possible. Until next year, PTM.
You guys are good. No, let me stand up. I think it's